So you probably already know this, but 80% of all US dollars were printed in the last 2 years. Did you know that?
It doesn't surprise me.
80%.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you look at the chart of the amount of currency in circulation since they came off the gold standard, or even since the start of the Federal Reserve, at the turn of century, I think it was last century. Yeah, it's just slowly, constantly printing more and more money. Yeah, yeah. It's a debt-based system, so who knows how high the debt can go.
Yeah. Isn't US in like trillions?
Yeah, but who do they owe it to?
The Fed.
Yeah, but I mean...
Do they? I don't, I'm questioning that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but it's it's based on the country's output, right? It's based on their GDP. So governments borrow based on their output of the gross domestic product. You know what is being produced by the country. So just like companies, really. You know, if a company is making a lot of profit, is producing a lot of stuff that people want, then they can borrow on their profits, and that's this debt-based system. Whereas cryptocurrency, like physical gold, it's kind of like a prepaid system, or more like a post-paid system actually, because the energy to secure the network and to produce the bitcoins has already been invested into the network. And to produce more bitcoins, it requires lots more energy that these mining computers are using. So it costs a lot of money to produce a bitcoin, whereas it doesn't cost anything for central banks to create more currency.
Yeah.
Just like gold, it costs a lot of money to mine gold. I mean, you and I can do it. We could go out panning for gold, but companies like Fortescue Metals Group or Rio Tinto, with their big machines, are going to probably be more successful at mining gold than we are. And that's similar to Bitcoin as well. You and I, we could actually become miners on the Bitcoin network, but there's large corporations that are already doing it on an industrial scale. On
a much larger scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I heard that statistic of 80% of all US dollars have been printed in the last 2 years, I was like, oh, I need to buy even more Bitcoin because like inflation is just going crazy. Whereas I look at Bitcoin as like I personally think it's a good investment because I'm like, well, there's only ever going to be 21 million. But I did hear on your interview that there could be more than 21 million. As in like in the program, in the...
Oh, if it was forked, I think that would...
What does that mean?
Yeah, if it was forked. Yeah. Well, there was a fork in the Bitcoin blockchain. And they made Bitcoin Cash. So it was around the fact that there's a limit to the amount of transactions that can get put into each block. So there's a limit on the amount of transactions that can happen every 10 minutes. Because of the way the system is designed. So some people in the community felt that Bitcoin wasn't being used as a currency system as it was originally intended, and that there should be a change to that technicality in the code. And there was a schism in the community. There was some people didn't agree with that. There was a conflict.
Yeah.
So it was forked. So Bitcoin Cash was born, which it's like Bitcoin, but it has the ability for more transactions to happen.
But does that mean that there's more Bitcoins out there?
Well, it's a different code. It's a different
so somebody just fully invented that.
Yeah, so they used Bitcoin, basically this everything the same except the block sizes were different, and then there was some people agreed to secure that network with their computers running a different code, and they created Bitcoin Cash. But that's not Bitcoin. So,
okay.
So it's an alternative to Bitcoin. So people in the community weren't happy with the way it was progressing, and they thought, okay, we'll create our own. So there was a fork. They're called a fork. So basically, you take some code and you change a little bit of it, and you're forking the code. You're creating a new version of it. But over time, it's shown that the market has shown that that one didn't do so well, and and Bitcoin still remains to be the one people are using more of.
Okay. Wow, that was hugely technical.
Yeah.
But I do get that as well. So people are kind of probably very skeptical about Bitcoin or crypto in general because it's hugely volatile. You'll see it kind of like have crazy highs and then go really low. So why would everyday people be interested in crypto, or like what would be the benefits of it? Or let's speak specifically about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, Bitcoin is different to the other coins because the other coins there's not certain amounts. They can just keep making them.
They're all different. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's lots of them. There's thousands of them.
Yeah.
And some of them are very similar to Bitcoin, and they've just rebranded themselves, but they're very similar.
But Bitcoin's are like the OG.
Yeah. Well, that's the one that's used for. It's like the gold standard. The value of it is the highest. It has the most amount of users, the largest developer community around it, the most integration around the world. However, it is designed to be used as money and a store of value, as opposed to some of the other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, and there's so many of them.
Yeah.
They have different use cases. So they can be used for maybe Internet of Things, where we can, connect up different devices to the internet, and maybe those devices can use a different token rather than Bitcoin. They can use Ethereum, and then Ethereum has more complexity, so you can do more things with Ethereum, for instance, than you can do with Bitcoin. And there's other cryptocurrencies, they have their own value proposition of different ways that you can use cryptocurrency, a little bit like we touched on before.
Right, so it's actually like different benefits. Is that because Ethereum...
like different companies, really. They're like different tech companies, different projects, and they offer different value propositions, and vast majority of them are still very speculative. And all people are trading them like currencies or investments.
Yeah.
But their real world use case, many of them has yet to be proven. So, but why, in answer to your question, why would somebody, want to have some Bitcoin? It could be just a small investment, on the potential that maybe it goes up in value in the future, or maybe they like the ideology behind Bitcoin that, it's like similar to people that buy physical gold, and if inflation goes up, maybe the cost of gold that goes up in value as well, so that they're not constantly seeing their investments or their money going down in value in relation to the cost of goods and services. So now you talked about inflation, if the price of coffee keeps going up and up, and you like drinking coffee, but your salary doesn't go up and up, you're going to have less and less money to spend on other things. So if you're able to buy maybe a little bit of Bitcoin or solid gold or something, and you hold on to that over time, maybe that goes up. I mean, nothing's guaranteed, but it's kind of like a hedge against inflation. That's the idea of it. So yeah, and as well, it's something cool to have, whereby, it's been around for how many years now? Nearly 15 years now, Bitcoin. So, there's a good chance that it's going to be around for a lot longer now, because it's had quite a lot of attacks through governments and people trying to hack it. And I mean, it's the only network in the world that doesn't have any downtime. I tried to use my Westpac app the other day just to send some money, and it said, not service temporarily unavailable. So I only had to wait a couple of minutes, but even so, Bitcoin has never gone down in 15 years. The service just keeps going. So, and the next time it goes on its bull run, I believe it goes through these cycles where it goes up and down in value. But if you look at it from, it was first being traded at 6 cents in 2010.
6 cents. And then the highest it's been is like 80 something thousand?
Yeah, something like that. Australian dollars.
6 cents
yeah.
to 80,000 Australian dollars.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. So if you bought a few dollars worth back in 2010, that would be worth a lot of money now. But,
yeah.
But yeah, it's sort of, and it's nice, and like, every few years it comes into the media and people talk about it, and then it sort of goes away again, and
then people panic and sell.
Yeah, so if people are interested in maybe investing a little bit of money into it, then the best time to do that is when it's quiet, when you're not really hearing about it. The worst time to buy it is when people are talking about it, because that's when the price is high.
So true. So if you're not hearing about it, buy it.
Not investment advice at all.
Yeah, this is not investing advice. This is for educational purposes only. Don't worry, we'll have a disclaimer at the beginning of this. Okay. And so do you think Bitcoin is a new gold?
Well, it certainly has a lot of advantages over gold. You can, like, if I wanted to give you a piece of gold, it'd be quite easy to do it now, right? But it wouldn't be so easy to do it if I wanted to give you $1 million worth of gold. That would be quite heavy for me to carry around. And if we were in different countries, again, how am I going to give you some gold? Put it in a parcel and send it to you. That might not be so great. So compared to Bitcoin, which, we can transact it anywhere in the world, with an internet connection, and it's, happens within 10 minutes, depending on how busy the network is. Okay. Yeah. So in that respect, it's sort of a modern version of gold because it seems to keep holding its value, and it's a hedge against inflation, just like gold. And the only thing it doesn't have is the history. See, gold has got like a long history of being worth, of having value.
Yeah.
Like if you track the cost of the price of gold compared to in relation to goods and services, gold has always sort of fared really well. Like 100 years ago, if you wanted to buy an Italian suit, the same amount of gold, you'd use the same amount of gold now to buy an Italian suit. So it kind of it seems to track well with the costs of goods and services.